Welcome everybody to the bar. Here we are serving NXT on tap tonight. How's everybody doing? What's going on, Phil? What's going on, Ginger? How we doing?
What's going on? Pretty good.
Doing all right.
Let me tell you, this episode of NXT, if this and last night's match between Dragon Lee and Dominic don't have you hyped for No Mercy, I don't know what would ever get you hyped for that. Because the way they've built this show these last two nights has been phenomenal. You guys have any thoughts on that?
I'm excited for Trick Williams.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they did that. Like I figured they were going to put him in when he went and talked to HBK. I didn't think he would pull the trigger.
I didn't think they would. I thought they were going to give it to Dragon Lee one more time.
That's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
To give it to Trick, and I think, and I was talking to Will before we were watching the first hour together, and I said, Trick's world champion material. He's right up there. Like he deserves a title now, and I'll tell you right now, I hope he gets it Saturday night.
He has proven himself so quickly. It's kind of unprecedented because he went from being a sidekick to now being in the title picture for the mid-card championship in NXT.
Yeah. Literally sidekick to superstar
in like a month and a half.
Which is impressive.
Because he was the sidekick at Great American Bash.
Yep.
Then you had the dissension between the two of them because now you had Carmelo thinking that he didn't win this on his own.
Yup.
To now him being in a match at a PLE for a title.
Yup.
And he put on two great matches tonight.
Yeah, it speaks wonders. It speaks wonders for his stamina, his ability to go out there and adapt to two different matches of two different styles.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think Trick Williams was your star of the night. He really went out there and performed, and he deserves what he's getting.
Agreed.
So, before we get into his two matches, let's talk about the opening match on the card tonight. You had the finals for the Heritage Cup Invitational, and you had Butch take on Joe Coffey. Phil, I could tell that you like Pete Dunne over there. Let's hear your thoughts on it.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I've always been a fan of the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne, Butch. I mean, let's be real. We just need it changed back to Pete Dunne, please, Uncle Sean, Uncle Hunter, please just change it to Pete Dunne. But
can you honestly say that the two people that have not suffered from a name change were Pete Dunne and Gunther?
I can honestly say, without a doubt, Gunther and Butch have really gotten a big push out of those name changes. Maybe I'll keep that. I can keep that because
when they introduced him as Butch, they said we know him as Butch. They never said it was his name.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So the opportunity is still for him to go back to that and be Pete Dunne.
He can always go back to Butch.
So I did like how they did that when he was introduced in the Brawling Brutes. So I could see eventually him turning on them, and that's how we get Pete Dunne back.
Right. But then going through the match with Joe Coffey, it seems like a very solid match that I would honestly see on a match on NXT UK, and that's not a bad thing. That for me is great because this was honestly a big example of, I guess, a bit of the British strong style of wrestling. Like British strong style really consists of a lot of hard striking moves, but yet mixed in with some very some very I would say very almost very scary technical abilities. Like Pete, like especially with Pete Dunne knowing how he works with especially with the fingers, the joint manipulation. You could see the same thing going on with Joe Coffey as well. Joe Coffey's got a killer discus lariat. He's got and then what is it? Pete Dunne, and then Butch, amazing A-side moonsaults from the middle of the post to amazing different step up enzuigiris, and then of course the bitter end, which is a basic pump handle into a flatliner, classic British strong style wrestling. That got me very interested in what we are going to see at No Mercy against Noam Dar.
So I think what AJ here was trying to say that Butch vs. Coffey was when Gunther debuted in NXT UK. But at that point, it would have been Walter debuting, not Gunther.
I wanted to see Coffey win this. I really did. Because I think Gallus would have been able to equal out Metaphor.
See, I think this
I'm
is
not,
where
I'm not against Butch winning. I'm not against it. I just wish Coffey would have won this one.
I think we're gonna get what's his name? I can't think of his name now. Ridge Holland showing up at the pay-per-view and being Butch's in Butch's corner.
Yeah, I definitely see that because I don't know. I don't know if they would really pull the trigger to have Sheamus be there, but I can definitely see Ridge.
Well, Sheamus has a shoulder injury right now. That's why you haven't seen him on TV.
That's right.
So
yeah,
I don't think he'll be there, but we'll discuss our pay-per-view predictions later. I don't want to get too into that right now.
Of course, of course. Let's keep going.
The 4 segments they had tonight with the family and the NXT, I thought were very well done. I loved how they set it up. They all sat down for a meal. The food was there. You had the hesitation by Umberto and Angel Garza thinking that they were trying to poison them through the food. You had the Creed brothers show up. You had Brutus and who was the other one?
Julius, and
one of them was just shoving his face the entire time. Just keep asking for more food. It was great.
Most likely Brutus. I wouldn't be surprised.
And then we had a match later in the night between Hank and Tank versus OTM. Which their new name is now called Out the Mud. And I love the presentation from them because it reminded me so much of Grand Theft Auto.
Their name is Out the Mud.
It's like OTM. Crime Time came from Grand Theft Auto.
They're called OTM, Out the Mud. And they brought it up.
Is that a slang for something?
OTM stands.
Yeah. Like they're coming out of they're coming out of the gutter, like they're building themselves up.
Oh, okay.
Which is why, I don't know slang words. I brought up the whole Crime Time thing.
Hey, what's going on, Ritter? How are we doing tonight?
Ritter.
But yeah, like the whole presentation, the coloring, the screens, the music, it reminded me like straight out of Grand Theft Auto. It was great.
Yeah.
And the match between them and Hank and Tank was actually pretty entertaining.
It was pretty good. Like you even got Scripps. I mean, Reginald or Red. No, it's Scripps.
Scripps.
But, come on, we all know it's Reggie. We all know it's Reginald. A very posh sommelier. Except the only thing is, he's now decided to go gangster and work with Out the Mud.
I think they had a good match. I think that using Hank and Tank was perfect because they're both bigger guys. So it shows that Out the Mud or OTM, I can't call them Out the Mud. I'm going to call them OTM.
Hey,
OTM is just.
Whiskey?
You're not wrong, Mr. Will, tonight. You're not wrong.
But no, their presentation was good. I mean, They ran some vignettes a couple weeks before, so the crowd was familiar. At first, I was like, "Who the fuck?" I was like, "Okay, I know who these guys are." But
And the way that they debuted when they came out and just beat up everybody, it was a good, nice way
Oh
to
yeah,
introduce
it
themselves.
established them as like a big dominant force.
And then
Although
you had
I do find that like the cutaway that they kind of gave last week was kind of funny because it's like they were literally running like an illegal gambling operation. The fact that they were like doing an illegal gambling operation,
right. It was like
dice.
in the streets. They were
like
playing
like
dice,
in New York,
everything else. Yeah.
literally New York, just like with the dice, just like I'm like,
And then you had, and then when you had Scripps turn on Axiom, like it was just a great way to build them up and make them actually legit contenders.
yeah. What
So
was funny,
I liked how they did it.
Yeah. What was funny though about Axiom and Scripps like teaming up at first and then Scripps betraying Axiom was that Axiom had kind of already established himself as NXT's resident Power Ranger, and that Scripps was basically just trying to it felt like when Scripps had the old orange and black costume, it's like he was trying to be like that. Like every Power Ranger thing almost all of them has like a rogue, an evil ranger in it. And it was just funny because you had Axiom at the time, he was wearing the black gear, so you had the Black Ranger, and then he was wearing the gold, and I'm like, no, the White Ranger's gone rogue. Now you've got him like literally acting as a manager for Out the Mud, and honestly, I think this could do some really good, cool things
he fits perfectly with them, and I like how they're doing it. So they ended up winning the match versus Hank and Tank, and they earned their seat at the table tonight, and then they made their way to the restaurant where they joined the other two, and then they got down to business when all three teams were there, and they set up the match for Saturday at No Mercy, and what you think was going to be a straight one-on-one match turns into a fatal four-way now with the
that was a
family
curveball.
with the family taking on all three of them. I was not expecting them to do that at all. I figured the family was going to take the person who actually respected the hospitality and went through the whole motions and did everything and ate everything as being like, we appreciate everything you've done, and that's who was going to get the title opportunity. But I like how they did it, included everybody.
I like the one part about the vignette once all four teams were at the table, and it was just a subtle thing, but where one of the guys from OTM stands up, and D'Angelo goes like this and snaps his fingers, and he goes, "Oh, you didn't tell us he rolled like that." It showed a little bit of like, okay, we're badasses, but we know where there's still a line we're not willing to cross just yet, kind of thing.
I know,
and that's exactly what
you want to tell your mom, bro, start talking crazy like that.
That's exactly what Jax is talking about right now, Ritter. It's the fact that they were sitting there. The guy stood up like he was ready to roll the place, and then he was like, "Dink," and then 6 guys come out. He goes, "Okay, I'm sitting back down." So I love the segments. I thought it was great how they did everything tonight. They set up 3 new matches for the pay-per-view tonight, and they all have a story, and they all have a story behind it. So after that, you had a quick match between Corbin and Briggs, which was really a quick match. It was essentially a squash, but it was to set up and continue building the story for the pay-per-view match between him and Breaker. Breaker comes out. They get into a little scuffle. They go their separate ways. You think nothing of it, and boy, were you wrong. Because if you watch that ending, that is how you set up a match for the pay-per-view. With that beatdown that they did, They were essentially destroying a car, and then to go through a wall and land in HBK's office, and then you have about
What's
15
going
security
on?
guards pulling them apart. Makes me want to see what they're going to do in this match.
What the hell is wrong with you guys? I'm trying to work.
Is this just a regular match, or is this like a no holds bars?
It's just a regular
It's
match.
a regular match, but the way they're setting this up, and the way that Booker T would describe it, no bread, no water, just meat.
I think they're going to change it.
Oh.
Is that like 3 weeks in a row, Will, that you've watched NXT? Did Jax convert you?
Oh, we have to. I have a proposition for you after the show, Scouts. When it involves Will. Let's just put it this way: it involves Will in the bar.
Okay. Okay. We'll see. We'll see if the bar can handle another person sitting at it. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this match now. I really wasn't that intrigued by it because I thought it was not built properly. But after tonight, I'm all in. The other things that we had going on tonight, you had Thea Hale versus Danny Palmer.
Who will be
Thea Hale looking good.
A lot of people don't like this storyline with Thea.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly think that this is doing good stuff for her, honestly, because Andre threw the towel in with her when she had the match with Tiffany, and of course that's just sent her going. Like at first it seemed like she was just going on a downward spiral, but now that JC decided to like kind of stay there, to try to be try to be a friend, but then all of a sudden they develop this bond over Thea just growing up in general. Like they're making this something like a lot bigger than what we're getting, because Thea just used to be like a joke. She used to just be the cheerleader that went out there, chase you, yeah. But no, now it's like she is starting to become somebody completely different. She's really working it different. I think I think she can do great things down the line.
So I always thought she was great in the ring. I thought she should have won the title off of Tiffany Stratton in the second match before this happened, and I was pissed that he threw the towel in, because it's like that's not what Chase U was about. Like that's not how they portrayed Chase U being, as quitters, and that's what really got her upset and changed her character. And then you have that one mean girl step in when the person is vulnerable, and now she's teaching her the ways of being a heel.
Yeah.
And growing up, she goes from the girl who was wearing the cheerleader outfit to now the girl who is now in the bathroom smoking during seventh period. Like, you can definitely see the change. Yeah, it's kind of like the
Julia Hart in AEW. That's something
different, because
that's
Julia
completely different. That was a cheerleader for the Varsity Blondes getting spewed with black mist by Malachi Black. Slowly becoming like she became completely disinterested in the group until she completely snapped and then became the princess of the Black Throne for the House of
I feel
Black.
like the Julia Hart situation is from life to death. Like she was alive and now she's dead. Like that's the way
now
that
she's
I
dead
portray
inside.
that being.
Yeah.
Julia Hart went through that phase in high school where your mom said, "Don't date that guy."
And it's like, son, don't date that woman. I mean, she is all I know about Julia Hart though is that she's dating Big Shotty Lee Johnson, and what is he doing right now? Almost nothing. Thea is new cutie.
Yes,
looking like JC.
Thea is the new. Damn, murder. Damn, Ritter. I should have read that comment before putting it up.
Will just adds
put
to
that
it.
Now I have
What?
Will just adds. Will's just like, fuck it.
So she had a match tonight, and she pretty much got rid of Danny in quick work. Danny was starting to get built up when she had Dana Brooke by her side, and they were building to feud towards that. I feel like we're going to see less and less of Danny now, unless they can turn something around and get her back involved in something.
I mean, correct me. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought just from me, I thought that Dana Brooke was the one working with Kalani Jordan, but then again, that's
Was
just
it?
me. That's just me.
No, you might be right.
Yeah, I think it was. I believe it was. She was working with Kalani Jordan because yeah. Yeah, I just have that feeling. I just had that.
Oh,
feeling.
like I said, you might be right.
No, because Danny Palmer was that one friend. She was like kind of displayed as like the friend of Sol Ruka, and just
right.
sort of after
was
we
with
got
Sol
introduced
Ruka,
to Danny
and then
Palmer
Sol
in
Ruka-
that one match,
and then
she
Sol Ruka
got injured by the secret attacker, which turned out to be Blair. Hey, Matt, what's up?
So
she was
they announced that the women's breakout tournament, the bracket's going to be revealed at No Mercy. So I'm looking forward to seeing who's involved in that. They did
Danny
say
Palmer's
that
already been confirmed.
Right. I was just going to say they did say that Danny Palmer would be in that. I think Thea Hale should be in it too. Even though she's had a title shot before. But that leaves us with we still have the strap match between Dijak and Eddie Thorpe.
That one really told a story.
That match, so good. Like
That
Eddie
one was a
Thorpe,
decent one.
if you don't know who Eddie Thorpe is, like honestly, go watch some of his previous stuff in New Japan, and then you'll see what he's doing here, and just see how he's been. Hey, I mean, if you hate ads, there is always one way to get rid of that, Ritter.
Amazon Prime.
No, all he has to do, just if you have an Amazon Prime sub, just use it here, or get somebody to gift you one. Talk to Will over there; he might help you out. And thanks for the resub over there, Pure Skills. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah, buddy. Let's go.
But yeah, this match, like I love how they had the story where he got the win in front of his family, but then he got his ass beat afterwards. Like best of both worlds.
I mean, it's funny because like obviously they mentioned in the match that Dijak was wearing the same white belt that he was using to desecrate the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time he was using it to kind of whip up Eddie Thorpe when he was in the quote unquote tree of woe. So
I thought it was nice how they did that.
Yeah, like there was a little bit of symbolism behind it. The fact though that also Dijak was aiming I think quite a few of his insults toward his niece, and she was like only 6 years old. Seeing stuff like this happen, like kind of seeing like that little bit of out of her face, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Any thoughts on this match, Jax? Before we move to the Trick
So
Williams
is Dijak still a racist cop? No, Dijak is the Dijak in there.
I mean, at first I was like, why not save this? I wish they would have saved it for No Mercy. I think it gave it a little more time at No Mercy. But for what it was, man, it was just fucking hard hitting both of them. And I love, like Phil was saying, the camera work with the niece. Like the camera, that's pure heel work right there. That's old school heel work. Piss off the kids. If you can piss off a kid, get them crying, you are a heel in my book.
So I would have agreed with this being on No Mercy. However, there's already 6 matches on the card, and that's already a lot for an NXT pay-per-view. NXT normally has 5, and they're good to go. This one they have 6 because they have all the titles being defended, and then you have Corbin versus Breaker. So I think that's going to be a good enough card.
The match was good, but this view was at pay-per-view worthy. I see.
What's going on, Tommy? How are we doing tonight? I think so Phil, I think you're being referred to as Hunter Hearst Helmsley in this scenario here.
Phil will forever be Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Am I between?
Kayfabe is real. Okay, well, just like
It's
so
still real,
brand splits
damn
and
it.
drafts. So let's move on to the main star of tonight. Dominic Mysterio. No, I'm kidding.
I still love
What
the
we
fact.
really came to talk
I
about.
still love the
Dominic
fact that he
Mysterio.
had no idea about the triple threat, and he's like, "I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna be chilling on the couch, mommy next to me, eating chicken nuggies." I'm
Yes.
just like, not the chicken nuggies again. And then
It's
once he
so-
finds
and it-
out about the triple threat to be fatal 4 match, wait a minute, no, this is not what I signed up for.
Yeah, I love how they did that, like, because it was announced right
Those were
before the
great.
show. He was like the second interview in, so it made it look like he couldn't have seen it yet, but it was great how they did it. And then he went and complained, everything else, and then you had the man who won his first match of the night, Trick Williams versus Joe Gacy, and I don't know what they're doing right now with Schism. I feel like it's stalling, so to speak.
Yeah, kind of feels like it's coming to a stalemate.
And it feels weird though. It feels weird because Trick is like been given offers from both Schism and Judgment Day of like, hey, you're not really doing much with sticking with Carmelo. You can join up. Like you have two Dark Orders saying join us. No, join us, and it's like no, neither one.
Yes, I do.
So I don't think that Trick Williams is going to join Judgment Day.
Obviously, just like Drew McIntyre will never join Judgment Day.
And the reason for that is because he is the one that won the Fatal 4-Way tonight in the main event of the evening between
which also added another great moment for that match because we have a new stipulation
between Dragon Lee, Axiom, Tyler Bate, and then Trick Williams was added after he went to HBK and said that he wants to go for a title. And the moments in this match, like some of the sequences that they had, like the one where Axiom ran over, stepped on the back of Tyler Bate to break up the pin, and then Canadian Destroyer
That was
Dragon
cool.
Lee.
That was
awesome.
Sick.
And then Dragon Lee rolls over, hits the ring post, and then just falls down.
So if Jack Spill joins
The chat is popping off.
NXT as Dank, we could get a big rib.
Yes, you can. Yes, and I wear a singlet on purpose.
Stop trying to make the Dark Order happen. It's not going to happen. And so, yeah, Ritter, okay. you hit it. You hit the nail right on the head,
right.
bro.
So we were going to talk about this. If you go back and watch this little vignette, the first thing that he does is he's changing the channel, and then he says it goes to like an eyewitness news report. He then switched the channel, and it goes to the Cincinnati Bengals NFL team. So what does that have? What color scheme is that? It's a tiger.
It says. Oh, sorry.
It's a tiger color scheme, the black and the yellow, black and orange. Credit to Jax on this. As they go to the next channel that he's changing to, you see an image of what shirt he's wearing.
It looks like a tiger.
It is the same exact shirt that this wrestler has been wearing previously. The next thing that goes up on the TV screen is WCW. So if you put two and two together, who was in WCW and who wears shirts like that?
Yeti.
A loose cannon by the name of Brian Pillman.
So it most likely is going to be Brian Pillman Jr.
Will Gray said Moxley?
I mean, he's not wrong.
Wow,
Except Moxley was never in WCW.
Man.
Why are we all muted? This chat's just popping off tonight. Tommy going screaming go Bengals. Will answering back after Bengals.
He's also from OHIO. Who needs help right now? Joe Burrow.
So I think that we're going to start seeing these little vignettes. I don't see him coming in the next couple weeks. I think it's going to be more towards like 2 or 3 weeks after No Mercy is done with.
It'll be before the next premium live event.
Yeah, I don't know when the next one is. I think the next one is going to be Halloween Havoc. And I don't know if that's actually going to be a PLE or if it's going to be a weekly show.
Like that one's going to be. I feel like that one would be. I think that one's going to be a free TV one because I believe the last Halloween Havoc they did, at least the one I remember where Wesley won the North American title. I believe that one was free TV.
Yeah, one of them was free TV.
Giving away this shit for free.
One was free TV. The other one was a PLE. So it can go back and forth. If they don't have any other, I don't know what they're doing. Because they're not going to have a PLE on that Saturday for Crown Jewel, so to speak. I don't know what that's the actual name of it, but so. Overall, what was your thoughts on tonight's episode of NXT?
It did good for storytelling and building into the No Mercy pay-per-view. I wish we would have had a little more when it came to the women's championship match other than just of the vignettes. But it really did good. Like getting the finalizing of the story, building some more matches. Dragon Lee now the special guest referee.
Yeah, they added that little thing at the end after Dominic was complaining about how HBK doesn't run the show. It's him. Yeah, I could see how you'd be upset that they didn't have that tonight, but I think they're pushing it towards next week because right now there was so much going on since tonight. I don't felt it would have gotten any time.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a disservice to both of them.
Especially with what they were doing with Trick Williams. It seemed like that all eyes for like the like one of the highlights of the night was really the fact that Trick Williams went out, wrestled, had a singles match with Josh Briggs, defeated him no problem.
Joe Gacy,
and then him standing his ground, making his statement. My man Carmelo's gonna go out there and he's gonna win. He's got a title. I think it's time I got a title of my own. He goes into HBK's office, and then boom, we get an instant update that it's going to be a fatal 4-way match. He goes into this 4-way match and he wins the whole thing. Like
it's not that we even got an update on it. He went and told Tyler Bate and Axiom himself.
Oh yeah. He literally said it right to their face. And the fact that happened, and then he came out and he won the whole thing. Trick is like the superstar of the night tonight.
And between that and the segments with the family for the tag division, that's why I don't think they had that match tonight.
That does make sense. And then of course, to cap off the evening after. I mean, well, obviously we still had the brawl, the big of Corbin and Breaker, but we had the contract signing between Melo and Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov for the NXT title.
That was the last thing we got to talk about tonight. The promo by Dragunov tonight in this makes me believe he's winning.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it's time, because then you can have Carmelo go up to the main roster. And I don't think it's going to be that long before he does. You cocked your head a little bit over there, Ginger. I felt like you didn't think I was going to say that.
Well, yeah, because I thought up until tonight, I was like, all right, Ilya's winning this. But when Trick and Carmelo had their little thing backstage, we're like, we're going home with all the gold. I went, that'd be a great way to end the Trick Williams story, him being a champion next to Carmelo. Like, so it can go both ways.
So, do you think that he holds on to the title because he threw that little jab in at Trick saying, I'm not Trick? And then he stopped short and is like, that's not what I meant. What's going on, Jamie? How are we doing tonight?
It's going to be a hard one to call for me. I want to see both of them win, actually.
I think that would actually be pretty interesting, honestly. But anything else we want to discuss about NXT tonight before I hit the little video and then we come back with our NXT predictions for No Mercy?
I feel like I was gonna have something to say, but I realize it's more towards the prediction end, so I don't have anything to say on my end.
Okay.
I think we discussed it all.
All right. We'll be back in about 20 seconds.